Welcome to Monday Motivation, PowerPoints for Successful Christian Living. We're glad that you're here to join us today. I want to talk about what are you afraid of? I'll talk about some of my fears too, but what are you afraid of? That is the topic today. And there are some good fear and bad fear. Good fear is, for example, I fear electricity. Now, I do electrical work, but I fear what it is capable of doing. And that fear causes me to be careful when I'm working with electricity. Or, for example, I drive 100 kilometers an hour down the highway. I'll get in the car and drive, but you ask me to go play ball hockey on the 401 highway over there. Well, I'm scared of that. I'm not going to do it. So there are good fears that keep us safe. Those are rational. They're based on we want to stay healthy, we want to stay well, we don't want to die. So those are good fears. Or we talk about the fear of God. The Bible, many places, talks about the fear of God. That's not fear as in God's judgment, or at least as God's children, we're not under judgment, but it's respect, it's honor. So just like I respect what electricity is capable of doing, I'm not scared to work with electricity, but I fear it because of what it's capable of doing. Same with God. We fear God. It's not cowering in the corner because he's going to execute judgment on us. He loves us. We're not under his judgment if we're his children, if we've accepted his forgiveness. So fear of God is a reverent fear. It's respect. So good fear is respect because you know something is powerful and it can do damage. That is good fear. But there's also bad fear. And there's a lot of negative bad fear out there in the world. And that's things that we are scared of that cripple us, that stop us from doing what we should be doing, that stop us from reaching our full potential. We strive because we're subject to all these fears. We're operating like we're paralyzed. We cannot do what we're supposed to do because, oh, this might happen, or this might happen, or this might happen. And we operate out of fear and negativity rather than realizing that that is a negative fear and moving beyond that. I think of one example. My uncle, when he was 50, he had the fear of heights. So to overcome that, he went skydiving. And it's actually quite funny because they lost him. Now, I don't mean he crashed and died. I mean that the instructor jumped and he jumped at the same time. They weren't tandem, they were separate. And the instructor, went fairly straight down and landed in the field where they were supposed to land. Well, the radio in his helmet wasn't working, and he forgot the one instruction that you can control your rate of descent because there was an opening in the chute and you would control that with a lever or something so you can control how fast you fall. Well, it was a windy day, and he had it at the slowest possible rate of descent, and the wind carried him off, and off, and off, and off, and off he went. It took an hour to find him, and then another hour to get to him. So it was quite funny, but we all had fun with that. But, okay, that's a rabbit trail. I digress. But the idea is, he had a fear, and he took steps to confront that fear. So, for example, I have a fear of heights, but it's a respect because I know that the damage that can happen if you fall from a height. But I'll go in a plane. I don't enjoy it, but I'll do it. I do lighting, so I'll go up a 40-foot boom lift or a ladder, and you're up there and you're shaking away. You're out on the end of this boom, and they're not stable. They rock, and you're up there working away, swaying back and forth. We were working on these lights overhead. So I will do it. But I have a healthy respect for the fact that if I'm not careful, things can happen. But I'm not going to let that fear paralyze me. I will still go up and I'll do the work that needs to be done. So there's many things we have where there's healthy fear, but when we carry it too far and it paralyzes us, that is an unhealthy fear. Many studies show the number one fear in America is public speaking. There's different studies, but that often comes out in the very top. Public speaking. Other ones on the list are heights. We just talked about that. Bugs, snakes, spiders. So the crawly, slithery things. Or confined spaces, claustrophobia. So there's many different fears. Let's take, for example, public speaking. I used to teach in a classroom. I spent 15 years working with a private college, and one of my duties there was teaching. So I actually got fairly good at teaching lessons. I had no fear standing up in front of my class. But for me, it was very easy because I had a lesson prepared. I would review the lesson the night before because I wanted to deliver it well. I knew exactly what I had to teach, and I actually became very good at it. So teaching is something I do very well. But in terms of getting up in front of people I don't know, that was scary. A few times I had to get up in church in front of the large crowd, and I managed, but I did not do well. Or impromptu speaking. If I have a prepared script, like I have my notes here, I'm not so bad with that. But just impromptu speaking where I have to think as I speak, I'm not as good at that. And that is scary for me. But what I did to confront that fear is I went and I joined a group called Toastmasters. They teach leadership. They teach public speaking and confidence. So that then gave me the tools that I needed to help overcome that fear of public speaking in different settings. So one setting I was fine, but the ones that I wasn't, it gave me opportunities to practice and to gain the skills to overcome that fear. So for example, when I first started doing Monday Motivation, there was a lot of negative thoughts going through my head. I've never done a weekly webcast. I haven't done a lot of in front of the camera video work. I'm usually on the other side of the camera. I don't mind that. But being in front of the camera, what if people don't like what I say? What if nobody follows me? What if I say something stupid? There's so many fears and negative thoughts that can go through your head, and when they paralyze you, that's not good. I'm short. I'm not photogenic. I don't speak as eloquent as some people. I love those people that are charismatic speakers. The first couple of words, and they just draw the audience in. That's not me. I'm more of a teaching style. But all these thoughts of what I can't do and all the negative thoughts going through my head, but I was determined I was not going to let them paralyze me. I've been in Toastmasters for 4 years. I have good content. Am I going to be paralyzed by fear? Or am I going to work through that and overcome that fear? And I decided to do that, and that's why I'm here doing the Monday Motivation now. I didn't give up. I pushed through the fear stage, knowing that it was paralyzing me. It was an irrational fear. So when you have fears, what do you do? Well, number one, identify the fear that holds you back. What is that fear? I think I say stupid things, or I'm not eloquent in the way I speak. Come up with a plan to confront it. What did I do? I went and I joined Toastmasters. I love public speaking now. I still have an element of fear, and that makes me cautious. That makes me prepare well. So in this case, fear inspires me to do better, but it doesn't paralyze me anymore. Put a plan into action. Just do it. When I first looked at Toastmasters, it was another year before I joined. That was a year wasted. Once you have a plan of action, just do it. Get out there and do it. Toastmasters is great if public speaking is your fear. They're very supportive. They'll help you work through it. They'll give you chances to speak in front of people so that you gain the confidence to overcome this fear. That's my plug for Toastmasters. Consider, look into it. Why do you want to overcome your fear? It's so easy to just retreat back, sit in our bubble, and do nothing. But you never grow. You're stuck. Don't you want to grow? Don't you want to be somebody better than you were yesterday? It's exhilarating when you have this that's holding you back and you break through that. The exhilaration, the adrenaline, the feeling of satisfaction that you don't get if you just retreat back into your bubble. And you will be a better person for it. That's the reason you want to overcome it. So my challenge to you this week, identify a fear that holds you back. Come up with a game plan to confront it. Put that plan into action. Just do it. Why? It's for you. I've come a long way in my Toastmasters career now for 4 years. And I even went to the division level in the international speech contest. I'll share a link to that speech. And I've improved some since then. You'll see things I did well. You'll see things that I can improve on. But the fact is, I just didn't let the fear paralyze me or stop me. I just went and did it. I'll share the speech with you just for some fun. But again, remember my challenge to you for this week, and the same challenge applies to me. What holds you back? What's your game plan? Don't let fear paralyze you. Overcome it. Just do it. Have a great week. We look forward to seeing you next week on Monday Motivation. Make sure you're on our mailing list. You like our Facebook page, our YouTube channel. Have a great week. See you next week.